Hey, peace to everybody that's tuned in. This is Bible in Plain View. I'm your brother Harvey today. My reader is Brother Amir. And the title of my class today is God Save the Godly for Himself. Right? See, you got to know and understand that everybody's not God's people. Everybody's not doing God's will. You know, when we come into the truth, we see, hey, you got two paths to go. You got the path for life, or you got the path for destruction, which the Lord speak about in Matthew chapter 7. You know, and he tell you, enter ye in at the straight gate. He says, for wide is the gate and broad is the way which leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Letting you know this path that leadeth to destruction. Hey, many people gonna go in there, right? But there's no boundary set, right? That's why he say wide is the gate and broad is the way, right? There's no boundary set. You can do what you want to do. You can go wherever you want to go. You can, hey, be whatever you want to be, right? They transforming themselves. Hey, all of these type of things you can do in that path of destruction. But see, this path that leadeth to life that the Lord is telling us about, and he says, narrow is the way, where he says, straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. It's few people that's going to be able to find this path that leadeth unto life, brothers and sisters. But we're just going to look at a couple of scriptures today pertaining to just seeing that, hey, everybody is not God's people, right? Even though God created all things and all people, right? Satan has come out here and planted tears and snares, right? Traps for those to fall into, and for those who doing the opposite, contrary of God's word, right? So we got to be aware of these things, brothers and sisters, and know truly, hey, who's following God and who's not, right? That's why I titled the class, God Saveth the Godly for Himself. And we're going to see that pertaining to the scriptures today. So the first place I want to go to is Numbers chapter 16. And right here, we're going to look at, our people, Israel, the congregation of Israel, soon after the Lord delivered them from the bondage of the Egyptians, right? We out here in the wilderness acting a fool, right? And you're going to see how much, how much Moses had to deal with according to the congregation. So we right here in number 16, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead when you got it, bro.
Now Korah, the son of Ishar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourself above the congregation of the Lord.
Yeah, now we seeing, Korah, he exalting his gate. He coming unto Moses, right? Who the Lord chose to deliver the children of Israel out of, the Egyptians, right? So the Lord chose Moses. So this is one of, he giving out his pedigree at verse 1. He got family, of Levi, right? Dathan, Abiram, Eliad, Peleth, and Reuben, right? All of these, they family, right? And so he coming unto Moses just trying to see like, hey man, basically why you putting yourself above the congregation of the Lord? Like the Lord didn't choose him in the position that he in. Keep going. Verse 4, what it say?
And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all all his company, saying, Even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto me. Even him who he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him.
Yeah, see, and he letting them know, hey man, look, we gonna see who the Lord choose. Since you want to, exalt your gate, right? You seeking destruction, we gonna see, right? That's why he says in verse 1, when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face, and he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, right? You want to see who holy, right? We're going to see what the Lord say. And will cause him to come near unto him, even him whom he have chosen will he choose to come near unto him, right? We can keep going. No. We gonna skip because that is a lot. So basically, I'm gonna run it down to you. So, they put a censer in, for the altar to burn just to see who the Lord chose. So, and after that point, uh, Moses went to go and get Abiram and Dathan. Right? They didn't want to come up. They called themselves rising up against. Let's look at that right here at verse. Yeah, let's go to verse 13. Not verse 11. Yeah, what that say?
For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron? That ye murmur against him.
Seeing this is they not even really coming against Moses. Really, it's really they coming against the Lord, because that's what a lot of people find themselves when Lord then chose a person to be in a certain position, and you call yourself fighting against him or coming against him in any type of way, like they doing Moses. Oh, you're gonna find yourself fighting against the Lord because he the one who chose it. And that's why he's saying this right here, verse 11. He said, for which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron? See, they coming against Aaron as well, that ye murmur against him. Verse 12, what it say?
And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of a land that floweth with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, except thou makest thyself altogether a prince over us?
Yeah, see, they going in, they flying off at the mouth, murmuring against Moses, right? But really ain't murmuring against Moses. They murmuring against the Lord, right? Talking about, hey, you done brought us out here to die. Talking about you done brought us to a land that was supposed to be flowing with milk and honey, right? Just basically making it seem like he not doing what the words he was speaking on, right? Really talking to the Lord like this. What it say at verse 14?
Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? Who will not come up?
Yeah. Keep going.
And Moses was very wroth and said unto the Lord, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them.
Yeah, he said, like, I'm not even taking anything from these men, right? And what they coming up with right now, hey, is abomination, right? I don't even want to deal with them, right? So he telling the Lord, don't even accept any of their offerings, right? He ain't even gonna take it, right? But now we gonna skip down to verse 31, because from there he gonna start speaking to Korah and letting them know, hey, at this situation when we go, hey, and if Korah don't die of natural causes or whatever it may be, hey, the Lord ain't dealing with me. And watch what happened after Moses start saying these things. You can go finish up and read it for yourself, because we skipping just to save time. But after Moses let off of saying these words, look what happened in verse 31. Go ahead when you got it.
And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertain unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all the appertain to them went down alive into the pit.
Yep.
And the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them. For they said, lest the earth swallow us up also.
Yeah, see, they done went up underground, right? This story is spoke about in the New Testament as well, right? But just understanding, just seeing how the Lord, showing you who he choose, right? See, God saveth the godly for himself, right? He gonna separate the person who doing his will. He gonna sanctify that person off from everybody else. So you gonna know who the Lord is dealing with. And this man Korah and his family had to deal with it, right? Because of their decisions, uprising themselves, right? Putting too much on themselves. That's what Moses told them. Like, you putting too much on yourself. You got part of the Levi, the things that they do pertaining to me. Now you want the priesthood, Like, bro was tripping, and his family as well, Dathan and Abiram, right? Just murmuring against Moses and finding themselves not just talking against Moses, but they talking against the Lord like this. And look how the Lord handled it. It says, and it came to pass as he had made an end of speaking all these words that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses and all that appertaineth unto Korah and all their goods, right? He took everything, right? Yeah, it's an earthquake that just came out and just opened up, but it didn't open up all the way. It's like it closed over him, because it says at verse 33, they and all that appertaineth to them went down alive into the pit, right? And the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation, right? And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also, right? Just seeing that, man, they got on. They like, hold on, but we ain't done with this story. Let's skip down to verse 41, because soon after that happened, then the congregation rose up on Moses and Aaron like, hey, man, y'all done took some good men of the Lord. They not even truly understanding what's going on. Let's look at that. Verse 41, what it say?
But on the morrow of the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, ye have killed the people of the Lord. And it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared.
Oh, you know what that means, but the Lord, he heard everything that's going on. Skip down to verse 49. So basically the Lord did some more killing. He started a plague in the congregation because they were speaking still against Moses and Aaron, but finding themselves fighting against God, right? And he gonna tell you the number at verse 49. What did it say? How many people died?
Now they that died in the plague were 14,700, beside them that died about the matter of Korah.
Do you see that? All for the matter of somebody exalting their gate, trying to see who the Lord really chooses, right? Just remind me of how the disciples were arguing over who is the greatest in the kingdom of, who gonna be the greatest, right? With the Lord, right? And he brought a child in the midst of them. But look at what the congregation was going on back then, right? Just over the midst of who the Lord choose, right? Man, Lord don't play, man. When God chooses a certain person, he let you know. He sanctifying out. Just like in Leviticus chapter 10. He said, hey, they gonna be sanctified that come nigh me, right? When Aaron's sons got took for sacrificing in the strange fire. But we're gonna keep moving along. Let's go over to our next place, 2 Timothy chapter 2. So we're going to look in the New Testament and the same thing as well. Paul warned Timothy about these things as well, as far as, being, understanding that other people out here set up to, help others fall from the faith, right? That's what Steve was speaking about in his class, right? It's a falling away from the faith in our generation and time. And a lot of people, that's what's happening. They not doing the will of God no more. And see, this is a class to show you that everybody is not God's people, right? And what's going to show you that who is God's people is you doing the will of God, right? But we right here in 2 Timothy chapter 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 11. What it say?
It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. Mm-hmm. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us.
Yep.
If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself.
Yeah. See, and all these sayings we have, right? They faithful sayings, but you got to look and understand. He says, if we, because I know they like to use this in the Sunday church, if we, at verse 11, it says, it is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him, right? Everybody think, automatically when you die, you go straight to the Lord, right? Nah, but but that presence of you dying, right? You just sleep for that matter of time. But hey, you know, when you wake up, you're gonna be with him. And then he says at verse 12, he said, if we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us, right? Just letting you know, hey, you got to be able to, hey, proclaim God unto others. There's things that you have to do, right? And you got to do some suffering, right? And knowing through this suffering, hey, you going to reign with him, right? And then he says, and if you deny him, hey, he going to deny you also. Right? So you got some things to keep up on your side of the field, right? And then, hey, he says, if we believe not, he abideth faithful, right? It don't matter, hey, like Paul say, hey, because the faith of some fail, hey, can this make the power of God of none effect? God forbid, right? We gon' still, God is still faithful. No matter what we talking about, he cannot deny himself. But look at this. Let's skip down. No, keep going. Verse 14. What did it say?
Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearer.
Yeah.
Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Yeah.
But shun profane and vain babbling, for they will increase unto more ungodliness.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. You want to increase unto godliness. You trying to be a God-like man. So God is gonna set you apart. Hey, when you doing the things that please him, right? The things like David say in Psalms 19, verse 14, he says, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, oh Lord. Like you want to do everything that's pleasing unto God, right? This is how you gonna get sanctified, right? He said, of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord that they strive not about words to no profit, right? Everything that you got to be speaking on got to be edifying and giving glory to God, right? But to the subverting of hearers, right? And you need to be looking out to win these souls, right? Getting them on to the word. He said, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Like, and when you getting into this word, you gonna, hey, trying to be a workman for the Lord, hey, you gonna do things to please him as far as engaging in his word and understanding these prophecies, right? Being able to rightly divide this word of truth, going from precept to precept, line upon line, right? Here a little and there a little, right? But he says, but shun profane and vain babbling. See, the world is on this false doctrine right now. And he's telling Timothy this for a reason, Paul that is, because it's a lot of false witnesses, false prophets out here. But he says, but shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness, right? And what he said is going to eat. He said, and their word will eat as doth the canker, of whom Hanimus and Philetus, right? Who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already. See, these brothers he putting on blast, hey, letting them know, hey, they not of us, right? Because they not speaking the same things that we speaking. They talking on the saying that the resurrection already passed, right? He said at verse 17, what it say?
And their word will eat as doeth the canker,
Mm-hmm.
whom is Hymenaeus and Philetus.
Yeah, he's saying they word gonna eat it, do it for canker, right? It's gonna eat, it's gonna rotten out some stuff, it's gonna desecrate some things, right? Because he says, who concerning the truth have erred. They done erred from the truth, saying that the resurrection is past already, and what?
And overthrow the faith of some.
And see, that's what it's gonna do. This false doctrine and those who pushing this forward in and plowing the wicked, this is what's gonna happen. Right? He says, and overthrow the faith of some, right? What verse 19 say?
Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having the seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity.
Oh, see? Yeah, hey, God knows them that are his, right? He says, lest the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal that the Lord knoweth them that are his, right? So you got to know and understand, God already know who his is, right? When he came, he already know who those who was going to believe on him was. So this is where we at now. We got to know and understand. He says, nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. Hold on. Place. Let's keep moving along. We're going to go over to our next place in Psalms chapter 4. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Psalms chapter 4. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead when you got it, bro.
Hear me when I call, O God of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame?
Mm-hmm.
How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah. But know that the Lord has set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him.
Yeah, see, just showing you, hey, this is a statement that's being made, right? It's a true statement, just as the one that we read in 2 Timothy 2, right? Paul was letting you know the same thing David is letting you know right here, right? He says at verse 1, he says, hear me when I call, O God of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah. But know that the Lord have set apart him that is godly for himself. See, you got to know and understand that God's not choosing just anybody out here. He wants a certain worship. He's been showing us that from the beginning of time. When we looking at Genesis, right, all the way from Cain and Abel, right? First two sons, the sacrifice. We see, hey, you just can't give the Lord just any type of offering, right? You can't just give the Lord any type of worship, right? And we're gonna see that in our next place, that the Lord, he only looking for the true worshipers. Let's go over to John chapter 4. John chapter 4, because Jesus right here in the flesh was having a conversation with the Samaritan woman at the well, and he let her know, like, at the end of the day, this water that I give you, this water you'll never thirst again off of this, right? But at the end of the day, she thought, he was speaking on prophet terms, and she tried to get one up on him, saying, oh, well, you sound like a prophet and you think you greater than our father Jacob. And he had to let her know, like, you don't know what you worship. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews, right? And so the woman, thinking her being, living over there for so long, she thinking that, hey, she naturally, hey, Jacob was her father, right? But at the end of the day, he let her know this one thing right here. We're going to pick it up at John chapter 4 and verse 24. What it say, bro?
God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
Oh, okay. See, you got to know and understand this about God. He is a spirit. And if you want to worship him, right, if you call yourself worship him in any type of way, doing it your own way is not going to work. You got to do it according to spirit and in truth, right? That he said, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, right? Skip up to verse 22. What it say?
Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
Yeah, not those ones that's living over in the land claiming to be us, right? Saying they Jewish, right? But we know in Revelations 2:9 and 3:9, hey, they the synagogue of Satan, right? That's not the true people of the land. And Jesus let her know what he said, verse 23.
But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipper shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
Yeah, see, the true worshipers gonna come in here and they gonna worship the Father according to spirit and truth. See, God ain't looking for just any type of worshiper. Finish that off. What'd he say?
For the Father seeketh such to worship him.
See, he ain't looking for just any type of worship. He want those true worshipers that's gonna worship him according to spirit and truth, right? This letting you know everybody ain't God's people. That's what he was talking to the Jews in John chapter 4, letting them know ye are of your father, the devil, and of the will of your father you gonna do, because he was a murderer from the beginning. Hey, and he comes speaking the truth, and y'all trying to murder Jesus, right? The same thing. Telling you in John chapter 17, hey, he pray not for the world, hey, but he pray for the ones that the Lord done sanctified out of the world, right? Letting them know, hey, everybody is not a part of this. Letting you know in Matthew 13, the parable of the sower, right? It's tares that has been sown out here, and they're gonna be rooted up at a certain time, right? But let's go over to our next place. Let's go over to Deuteronomy chapter 32. Deuteronomy chapter 32. Because we just seeing, you know, this the inspiration of this class of the thought came from an associate at work. I was telling him, man, it's gonna be a crazy thing when the world realized this black man, God chose, hey, to be his kingdom of priests, and it's gonna preach unto the world. He was like, man, everybody is God's people. It's supposed to preach God. And I was like, yeah, nah, that's not true. Everybody's not God's people, right? Look at this. Even the children of Israel, right? Here go another mistake. Once they got into the land, they was tripping once again. Let's go look at this. Deuteronomy 32 and pick it up at verse 4. What it say?
He is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment, and God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he.
Mm-hmm.
They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation.
Yeah, see, you got to know and understand. Even the children of Israel find themselves going left field with the Lord, and got a spot on them where he's saying, this ain't the spot of his children no more, right? He says they have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Let's see why. Skip down to verse 16. What does it say right here?
They provoke him to jealousy with strange gods. With abomination provoke they him to anger. They sacrifice unto devils, not to God. To gods whom they knew not. To new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
Look at this mouthful that the Lord gave them, all because, hey, they doing things that's contrary to what God told them to do. God told us from the beginning, he is a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, right? And so we see they actions over here in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy, doing the same thing, right? He says at verse 16, they provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations, provoked they him to anger. Right, just seeing all of these things, right? He said they sacrificed unto devil, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. Right? God is the one who established Israel. Tell you in Ezekiel chapter 16 how he, threw his skirt upon us, right? It was the time of love, right? When he passed by thee, right? Fashioning us up, all of this. He showed us love, brought us up as a nation of people, right? And look at the love that we showing back toward him, not even doing his will, right? But let's continue on and go on to our last place, right? Paul in Ephesians 5, speaking unto, the Gentiles, letting them know some things that appertaineth unto us as well, as long as we keep in memory of doing God's will, right? Just as Jesus let us know in Matthew chapter 7, right? All of the things, that concerning the will of the Father, right? Those that do his will, they gonna live forever, right? Letting you know that. Matter of fact, before we go there, let's go look at that. Matthew 7 and verse 21. Matthew 7 and verse 21.